Well, Senator Grassley has just dropped a bombshell on the American people, stating that a whistleblower from the FBI has revealed to them that the FBI under the Biden administration and under Christopher Wray had a targeted list of individuals that include about 92 separate names or organizations, in which both, obviously, Donald Trump was on that list and Charlie Kirk. Gee, Wally, I wonder who could be targeted next. I don't know about you, but I'm sick and tired of all the rhetoric and talk and crap coming from the left. And right now, the left is out there saying both sides are doing atrocities. Well, that is true. There is crap happening on both sides. There is far more coming from the left. I've got a lot to share with you before I even get into that list. And we do have to ask with this list is, are these the people that are in danger? Maybe we should get them more security. I mean, I'm over it. I don't know about you, but I am over this leftist crap that they are spewing right now. And all these leftist people who are out there celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. This is insane to all of them. I mean, my God, you are sick people. That is what I have to say. But here is to this both sides thing, and I just don't see it. Right now, here's a list that I compiled, right, of radical left extremism. And here it is. And I'm going to go through these quick. Congressional baseball practice shooting. Steve Scalise almost died. Summer of Love riots. That includes George Floyd, where they burnt down freaking cities and people died. Waukesha Christmas parade massacre. Lee Zeldin stabbing attempt. Covenant School shooting in Nashville. Of course, Butler, Pennsylvania, assassination attempt on Donald Trump. Trump International West Palm Beach assassination attempt. Abundant Life Christian School shooting. United Care CEO's murder. Tesla firebombing and attacks. Murders at the Israel Embassy. ICE facilities firebomb. Minnesota Catholic school shooting. Anti-white stabbing in Charlottesville, North Carolina. Utah News firebombing attempt. Multiple attacks on ICE. Attacks against the federal courthouse. Attacks against police. Fires at pro-life pregnancy centers. And Antifa violence. The only things I could think of off the top of my head for those on the right would be, I don't know, Paul Pelosi, January 6th, depending on how you classify those. But heck, it seems a little uneven. But this has really got to stop, and it is starting to get in crazyville. Now, before I go on, I've got to get a shout out to one of my favorite sponsors, and I really encourage you to check them out because they have been with me a while. Well, let me ask you guys a question. If you built up $100,000 or more in investments, would you really want to throw all of that money on the stock market? I mean, think about it. Banks and billionaires and even countries are now loading up on physical assets like gold and silver. Why would they do such a thing? Well, they know that the markets can swing and real assets will maintain their value. You see, this is why I've got to tell you guys about Noble Gold Investments. They make it rather simple for you to own the same investment gold and silver that these billionaires and bankers are buying. And the great news is you can hold this in your hands tangibly, or you can even put it in your retirement account. After all, you've worked so hard to build your wealth. Why not protect it? And you can protect it today. What I want to encourage you guys to do is go to lisahavengold.com. That's lisahavengold.com right now. You see, Noble Gold Investments is a family-owned business trusted by thousands of people, and they are ranked #1 in the gold IRAs 4 years in a row. If you want to check them out, you can do one of two things. Give them a call at 1-877-646-5347 or go to lisahavengold.com, fill out this information, and then click email me my wealth kit, and they're going to send you an absolutely free wealth kit. Better yet, if you do want to give them a call right now, they are giving away this limited time offer: 1 10-ounce silver American flag bar plus 1 silver American Eagle proof coin for any new qualified account. That includes IRA or cash purchases that qualify. So make sure you mention my name when you give them a call. But if you want to check them out, go to lisahavengold.com or give them a call today. And by the way, there's always a risk to investing. There's never a guarantee, but definitely let Noble Gold help you today. If you want more information, click that more button if you're on your cell phone, or click the link in the description box below. So with that, Let's dive into this targeted list that was dropped by Senator Grassley in a Senate hearing. Take a listen to what he said.
At your nomination hearing, I made public records that whistleblowers provide me about Arctic frost. Arctic frost was the FBI case opened and approved by antitrust Trump FBI agent Thibault. Arctic frost then became Jack Smith's elector case against then citizen Trump and now President Trump. These new records show that Arctic frost was much broader than just an electoral matter. The case was expanded to Republican organizations. Some examples of the group that Ray FBI sought to place under political investigation included the Republican National Committee, Republican Attorney General's Association, and various Trump political groups. In total, 92 Republican targets, including Republican groups and Republican-linked individuals, were placed under investigative scope of Arctic frost. On that political list was one of Charlie Kirk's groups, Turning Point USA. In other words, Arctic frost wasn't just a case to politically investigate Trump. It was the vehicle by which partisan FBI agents and Department of Justice prosecutors could achieve their partisan ends and improperly investigate the entire Republican political apparatus.
You have to ask yourself, why would the FBI under Joe Biden list the RNC as, someone who should be targeted, along with TPUSA, Donald Trump, and many other conservative organizations? One has to ask yourself, we all know this, but obviously the FBI was weaponized. And I say was, and it still is, because Kash Patel is in there right now. He's not done with the work. He's got a clean house, and I think he's still cleaning house. There are still people in there who are using it as a form of weaponization. But here's the deal. If our own FBI targeted conservatives the way that it did, 92 people on that list, including Charlie Kirk and his organization, including Donald Trump, what does that tell you about, the Democrat Party in general, or liberals, or the left in general? If our own FBI targeted us, what does that tell the public? Oh, they must be bad people, evil, Hitler types, racist, transphobic, homophobic, whatever, xenophobic. Think about our own government listing groups and people that are all Republican and conservative on these targeted lists, calling it a Project Arctic Frost. And now we have radicals in the far left doing stupid, insane, violent acts. All this rhetoric that they've been shoving down America's throats can really radicalize some people when you constantly call people Nazis. Now, Donald Trump did address this Arctic frost, and here's what he said, and rightly so. And then he put this on his Truth Social page yesterday. But why was the wonderful Turning Point under investigation by deranged Jack Smith and the corrupt and incompetent Biden administration? They tried to force Charlie and many other people and movements out of business. They weaponized the Justice Department against Sleepy Joe Biden's political opponent, including me. They allowed the daughter of a judge on one of the corrupt trials against me to become the biggest fundraiser for Biden and Kamala, making many millions of dollars for herself and her family. But with her father, the judge, not only refusing to recuse himself, but putting a gag order on me, not allowing any talk about their family corruption and unprecedented conflict of interest. Every leading legal analyst and pundit said this trial was wrong and should not have been allowed to go forward, but it did because of a corrupt judge who will hopefully pay a very big price for his illegal actions someday. So that was written by Donald Trump, and the investigation he's talking about here is Arctic frost that was just dropped by our Senator Grassley there. It is insane to me that we have even been put on a list under any administration. And here, I'm going to be very frank with you. I don't care if you're on the left or right, Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, liberal, I don't care. You shouldn't be put on a political list and targeted. I will fight for the rights of those on the left in that manner, the same as I will for those on the right. Why the hell were we targeted? And now we have all this outbreak of crap that we haven't even seen. We've got people right now on the radical left out there cheering for Luigi Mangione, who killed the healthcare CEO. They're cheering him on? I mean, sick, perverted world to cheer on a freaking murderer? And hey, they're doing the same thing with Charlie Kirk. Now we've got not one, but two incidents. And the poor Ukrainian girl, they're just like, turn the other way, wrong color. These people have lost their ever-loving minds. And America is paying attention. And America is taking notice. And we know that you are sick individuals for even, for acting like murder is good. And I'm against violence altogether. If my worst enemy, say my worst political in the world enemy got murdered and killed, put a name, whoever it is, right? My worst one that I hate the most, I would pray for that person. I would pray for that family. I would never do what these people have been doing with Charlie Kirk and praising it. It is sick and demented, no matter who you are. And I have never done that, nor will I. And nor will I support people who do that, no matter if it's left or right. Right? You shouldn't do that. Period. You've got to be sick in the head. Here's actually a good response to that by Robert Sterling. I don't know him very well, but I do not believe he is a Republican, right? So, but here's what he says, and I could be wrong, but here's what it says. And this is a good message for those on the left. A really good message. My liberal friends are completely oblivious about how radicalizing the last week has been for tens of millions of Americans. Zero clue. I'm not talking about those online. I mean the everyday normies, right? And he goes on, people who scroll through Facebook, not people who are watching Rachel Maddow, for example. He says there's millions of them, tens of millions. They're logging on, they're engaging, and they're furious. And I'm going to be very candid with you, those on the left, right? They blame you guys. They blame the left. Regardless of whether you believe it to be justified, they think you're the bad guys here, and they are reacting accordingly. I can already hear some of you racing towards the comments to start screeching in moral indignation, so I'm going to be blunt. Shut up and listen to what I'm telling you. Your movement will lose any semblance of relevance if you don't develop some small measure of self-awareness and, absent someone force-feeding you bitter medicine, you guys collectively lacked the humility to do it on your own. Here's the facts. Number one, tens of millions of Americans started the week seeing a 23-year-old blonde woman, a young woman in whom virtually every parent watched pictures of their own daughter stabbed in the neck by a career criminal who, by the way, was released from jail over 14 times. Number two, then just days later, tens of millions of Americans watched the video of Charlie Kirk getting murdered while speaking to millions of people. Upon seeing those videos, Americans from across the land and across the political spectrum agreed that he was a victim of a terrible, fundamentally unjustifiable crime, and their hearts broke in sympathy for his family. Good people who never even heard the name of Charlie Kirk were weeping. This is a guy, by the way, who never committed an act of violence. I'm talking about Charlie Kirk. Number three, immediately after seeing the seeing the footage of the peaceful young man get shot, these same people logged onto Facebook and Instagram, right, and saw some of their local nurses, school teachers, college administrations, and retail workers celebrating the crime. Not just defending it, but cheering it on. Normies see this. Normies who don't pay attention to politics. These are all facts. You may not like the implications of these facts, and we can certainly debate the underlying causes thereof, but indisputably, they are nevertheless factual statements. Here's what that means for you, the Democrats reading this. The normal, middle-of-the-road, non-political citizens just became politically active. They realized that politics cares about them, even if they don't particularly care about politics. After watching Irina Zarutska and Charlie Kirk both bleed out, they think their lives and their physical safety of their families, right? That's what they're thinking of, their lives and their physical safety of their families, the bedrock of human society, the foundation of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, dependent on political activation, whether they desire it or not. These people are now sprinting, not jogging, not walking, but racing to the right because they blame you guys on the left for everything that just happened. He goes on, they blame you because even if you count yourself as a moderate Democrat, your party supported the district attorneys, city council members, and mayors that left fictitious concerns about mental health and racial justice. They let that supersede very real concerns of families, normies families, regular families, safety. When these Americans see blood coming out, right, from Charlie Kirk, and he was a murdered political activist, they think of every extremist leftist who ever said things like, jokes about punching Nazis and bashing the fascist. They recall that their friends said things like this during those times. That is what normies are doing right now. They realize that they really do exist people who wish to see them dead for their moderately conservative political beliefs, their Christian faith, or even for the color of their skin. They ask themselves, if the violence visited upon Charlie, might one day it show up to their own doorsteps? And they blame you because you lack the courage to police your own ranks. Wow. And I think that's a good way to end it. And he's written a lot more in that. You can read the whole thing. I'll leave a link to it, but it's on his page there. They're not policing their own side. Instead of policing it, they're encouraging it, calling us Nazis and fascists. The only one out there right now that has a little bit of a brain on the left is Fetterman. He's at least out there saying, hey, stop calling people Nazis. This is what happens. These are the kinds of things that happen. When you compare people to a man who has killed millions of people, and you're calling them the same? They are not the same. Very intense rhetoric. And that's what I wanted to share with you guys in today's broadcast. I know went a little longer than normal, but that's the thing. We're living in some pretty tumultuous times, but the normies, to really is no other name to give it, are waking up. Even friends of mine that aren't involved in politics at all, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. I've had a friend, coworker praising it. Oh my gosh, that's sick. And they're not even on either side. Many of them just don't pay attention, right? And I think they are going to be running for the Republican Party and to the right because they're seeing the left and what they're doing and they're fearing for their lives. Oh, you're going to judge me based off of my politics? You can judge one man, aka Charlie Kirk, and praise and shout. And it's not everybody, obviously. It's a few on the radical left, but they're getting louder and louder. It's not all Democrats, right? But they're getting louder and louder on the left, on the radicalized left. And they see these people coming out with an open platform, cheering on the death of someone. I wouldn't cheer on the death of anyone. Again, not even my worst enemy. I would not do that. I would pray for their family and hope that they're okay. I don't wish death on anyone. Anyhow, wanted to bring all of that to you guys. I love you all. Can't wait to read your comments. I'm Lisa Haven signing out.